Hello, another camera sent to me by someone who watches my videos. This one's a Ferguson 3V20. It's the Ferguson version of the JVC GX88. He did have it working at one point, but I think it was never totally right. But then it's developed another fault where the picture goes on and off. So let's have a look at it. Right, so you can see here it's flashing on and off once every second or so. And this looks to me like it's the tube drive rather than the video stage. And why I say that is, you see this pattern of sort of diagonal lines. That's the kind of thing you see when the target voltage is wrong, I think, and this green colour on the highlights as well as the smeariness, that looks like when the beam current's too low. I'm not totally confident of this though, and we'll find out when we open it up. Right, let's open it up. Right, so the first thing I'm going to check is the 9-volt rail. I don't think there'll be anything up with this. I think if there were, we'd be seeing a lot more problems. But just have a look. It's down here. That looks alright. Right, that's alright. Alright, check some tube voltages. So the heater first. That's one end of the heater. That's the other end of the heater. They look alright. On G4. That. And that's 132, that's supposed to be according to this, and that looks about right. G1. So we're like minus 30 odd, which that looks right. I'll just measure it on a bit better thing. Yeah. Right on. Got an AC coupling. Half a volt. Yeah, it's not pulsating at all. So then G2. That looks alright. I believe. Just put on AC. There's some wave on it, but that'll be like part of the correction. It's not pulsating at like a 1 Hertz rate or whatever. So tube drive seems to be alright. Let's have a look at some signal waveforms. This is test point 1 on the video board. That's bouncing up and down like I don't know what. and steady it all off. Yeah. So what's it like when it first comes into the board? That's not the first point of call. And this is it here. So that's alright there. So what have we got between here and test point 1? This is the connector where the signal comes in from the preamp. That's where I measured it and it looked okay. It goes through this capacitor, this emitter follower, another emitter follower, and through these trap filters that remove the 4.1 and 8.2 MHz carrier content. And then this is test point 1, where you could see the fault was present. Where it comes in at this capacitor, this transistor X201, that's clamping the signal to a DC level. There's a voltage held on this capacitor, and this transistor turns on during the blanking and charges this capacitor to that voltage, so the signal's maintained at that DC level. That voltage comes from this op-amp. This buffer transistor has as its load this current mirror. Part of that is this peak white balance pot and this AGC balance 1 pot. That goes over to here. This Gilbert cell type circuit, these differential amplifiers, that's the AGC circuit. I might just try adjusting this AGC balance. It's AGC balance 1. I wouldn't normally adjust things, but just see if it's going more up and down. That seems to have settled, and picture in viewfinder looks alright. Now he has changed a load of these capacitors. I think it'll be these ones with red dots on them, including that one. So I wonder if maybe replacing one of these capacitors has upset the balance of this circuit, because it's like oscillating, it's overcorrecting, going too far high and then overcorrecting itself, going too far low, overcorrecting that, and I think that looks more or less right, to be fair. But I'll do proper setup on it and I'll have a look at what it looks like, the actual picture. Right, set the target voltage. So I have to set this iris closed, and this should be 25 millivolts. You can see it's low because this is 20 millivolts per division. So just turn it a bit. Maybe that. That's about right. That's that target voltage set. Beam current setup. I have to open iris fully and set it for 1.2 volts where it clips. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So it basically, I think it is that already. Just aim that in a bit more. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, that's alright. Right, we've got horizontal width and linearity. The width is set to minimise carrier amplitude. That's at test point 2. Can't really get that any smaller. I can get it to sort of change a bit as I bring it in. And the other two is to make it flat. So that is flat. And this linearity 2, which is the sort of start of the wave, to make that flat as well. So that's that. So it's the AGC balance next, and you need to use this, which is a jumper. It's a 10 microfarad capacitor and a 56 ohm resistor in series, and that goes between test point 6 and test point 7 on the process board. So I've connected that up, and you can see it's going mad again, pulsating. So you have to adjust it so that projection is level with the rest of the waveform, which is not syncing to it now, because it was syncing to that projection, I think. I'm going to have to find a point to trigger the scope from so I can see this waveform properly. So I'm triggering off the video output now, which means I'm getting a stable thing, but it also means that you can't see what's happening on screen, unfortunately. That seems to be right. Right, so I'll look at what it's looking like now. I'm turning iris open and close. It's not doing auto. Set it to auto and it's going funny again. So don't seem to be able to set that. So I think what I'll do, I'll go back and check the vertical centering, because the black mask that the AGC uses for reference on these, it's across the top of the picture, so it's the vertical, it's on the field, you know. So if like the height and or more mainly the vertical centering, if that's off, then it won't be getting the optical black. So I will go back and check that now. So in order to do this check, I'm going to have to and I'll need a picture, but I need to be able to get a white picture, so I'm going to have to readjust this AGC balance to try and get some sort of picture going on. Let me get a bit of light. Just take this off a minute. Right. I don't need that on for this adjustment anyway. So I need to trigger this off the thing, the video signal. It's test point 2 again. Right, so what I've got here is I've got two waveforms showing. This is the normal one, and then this is the delayed sweep. So this is showing you what section's being displayed on here. This is the main waveform. So I'll change it to just the delayed one. These are offline, so two of these is a full line, and it needs to be 15 lines from the start of this bit to where it goes to full white. That's where it was big white there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's only like 10 and a half there. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it's like the one before that edge line. Vertical centering. If we adjust this, put it one way there. Just turn it full up. That looks about right. Have a look at that AGC again. And so I've put that jumper back on, try and adjust it. See, I think that it's gone back to nothing again there. I think that means it's gone like that, means there's no picture. I think. What happens if I open it up? Oh no. That seems alright. So I think that probably is adjusted right now. So then you put it on auto and adjust R293, but you have to don't seem to be able to get it to settle. Try readjusting this. Right, what I've just been doing, so I went on auto now, and I'm adjusting it, see where I need to get it. This is AGC1, see where it needs to be for it to not be jumping up and down, which seems to be there. I'll put it in manual, put it down, I can vary it in manual, put it into auto, and then it just stays where it were in manual. So it's like you're defeating the AGC. But it is very slowly moving up. Alright, so this thing's obviously not working. I can't set the AGC properly. So I've been having a look at the board, because he mentioned that, well, you can see he's changed the capacitors. So I started having a look at them, and I noticed, I think he's made a bit of a boo-boo, because this is going by what it says in schematic, and I know, like, that's not guaranteed to be right, you do get mistakes in them, but like this one here, according to the schematic, it's supposed to be 2.2 microfarad, and he's got a 22, and this one is supposed to be 10, and he's got 100 in there. Now that one's the clamping capacitor, what holds the DC level that the signal's clamped to. That one is also part of the AGC circuit. There are a couple of other ones as well, which were these ones here, C301 and C302. These, according to the schematic, both 0.47. See where the writing's on a side that I can't bend it towards. Anyway, I think that one's 47, or it's 4.7, and that one's 47, where they should be both 0.47. I don't know that that'll be making a massive difference though, because they're just like coupling capacitors for the chroma signals. So I don't think that they'll necessarily be causing a problem. it being big, but the other two, if what it says in the service manual is correct, then I reckon that these two capacitors being wrong will be causing that problem that we're seeing. So I'll change them and then try it again. Right, try doing this adjustment again. I'm triggering off the vertical drive now so I can record it at the same time. So is that the same as it was? Yeah. I think that's still doing that thing. Turn that up. It does seem to be sort of working now, but it's very, very slow. So like, if I put it in manual, close iris, and then put it into auto, see how long it takes to finally respond. Doesn't seem to be triggering there for some reason. I should have took that off, that's why. Should be having some of that, surely. Fucking turn it off. Alright, so this is where it is after setting the AGC. I've got the thing closed, the iris. I've set it to auto. And see, it takes a long time to respond, but then it starts to come up. Then it sort of settles, but then it just keeps increasing and increasing. And it's getting brighter and brighter. To a point where it's just like too far, gone too bright now. I think that's like at full brightness. Yeah, like that's the same as if I fully open the iris. If I put it there, turn it on, it sort of responds almost immediately. It does something straight away. So I'm not sure. I'll go through the rest of the setup and see how it is, because I know there's like the iris level setting, so it could be to do with that. You've got the Y gain and Y gamma, but first you have to do a rough adjustment of the Y setup, which is R255. Set this for 50 millivolts from the optical black to here. That's this one. That'll be alright. So Y gain and gamma, so I've set it for 0.4 volts peak to peak at test point 1, and I've also turned the chroma limiter right down, so to get rid of the chroma signal, because that's what it looks like without. So that gives you a better idea of how big the waveform actually is. So you're supposed to set this for 0.7 volts from there to there. This is with a 75 ohm resistor in parallel. That's that. And then the gamma, so it's linear. I don't know how accurate this chart is, to be honest, so I'm gonna move it down to there, but and you've got the actual adjustment of the Y setup, but that's still alright, so there's no need to redo that. Right, we've got the phase and blue matrix set up now, but you have to put this red filter on, so that's point 3. That's one of these, isn't it? It's that one. Bloody thing. So phase transformer first, so the waveforms become clearly visible. That's the clearest, and then it says to turn it another 90 degrees right, what it says. I'm guessing that's clockwise. I've done that. Blue matrix. It should make this go to 0. That's it, where I can't even trigger on it. And that's right. G setup and G matrix now. We're on test point 5. G setup. This is R286, isn't it, I think? Yeah. Just to make it level with that basic line, and then the other one to minimise it. Sure, it is pretty minimal, isn't it? I'm just alternating between two here to try and just sort of tweak it out. That looks about right. Increase and take the red filter off. Rough adjustment of the carrier balance. Trying to minimise it. That's as minimised as it's getting. On the white balance, you've got to minimise the carrier. You can see there's loads of carrier on that. That one doesn't seem to make any difference whatsoever. Alright, so I've set the white balance. Let's have a look what it looks like. The colour looks a bit weird. That doesn't look right at all. See, that R302 didn't seem to be doing anything, which is R minus Y gain. So, not sure. Must be something wrong there. I've just been looking at the board and noticed this. Which is on the capacitor that takes the minus R signal to this chip here. Is this capacitor. So I bet that is what's causing it. So I'll have to, it's lifted, it's separated the thing, the copper's lifted off from the board, so it goes to there. So I'll have to solder a little wire from there to there. I mean, that it's soldered in place alright, but so I can just solder a little wire link, and that should hopefully sort that out. Right, there's my little repair wire. It should be alright. I'll try it again, see what difference that's made. Right, can see that's clearly made a big difference, and that's me turning that pot, so it has an effect now. And there's red in the picture, so I'm gonna have to go through the white balance setup again now that I've got that working, and then I'll see how it is. I've redone white balance now. I've redone white balance now after repairing that wire. Let's see what it's like. Now it's looking better already. That's a red screwdriver, that looks pretty decent. Slight yellow backup multimeter. This thing looks reasonably accurate. That's my hand. So I'll move on to the next thing. We've got the carrier balance again, proper adjustment, and there's chroma limiter and white clip, and then we come on to the adjustment of the auto iris. So I think I'll go through them, and then this auto iris one I'll be interested to see what happens, because when you put it into auto mode, the iris just seems to open fully. It slowly opens full. It's like it's just stuck on drive, you know, but not with a strong drive. We're like weakly driving it constantly. Right, so I've done the other adjustments, and now I'm attempting the auto iris. So I've got it in manual now, and the iris is closed. I put it to auto, and then see what happens. It started slowly opening up. You can see that waveform rising. I stopped there. In fact, this is the auto iris adjustment. Now it's gone fully open. So I can kind of control it there with that. It is. I turn it. but it's sort of intermittent. Like sometimes I turned it fully up here and nothing's happening. Now it's fully open. But I've turned it fully down now, but it's fully open. The iris, it's not moving. If I put it in manual and close it and put it back to auto again and see what happens. It kind of stopped there and then it's starting to open. And it just keeps opening further and further. If I cover the lens up, see, it's not responding to that. It's not closing. And try adjusting the thing. As it has adjusted now, it's gone down to 0. It sort of works when I move it and doesn't when I don't, you see. Let's have a look what's happening at the output of these op amps that are controlling it. This is one of the op amp outputs. Put that down here. That's one of them. And the other one. That's the other one. I'm in manual anyway just now. That's me opening it. Close it. I open it. That goes low and drives it, and then as it opens up it comes back up again. I think that's due to that voltage developed across that other coil why that happens. So about the inputs, this pin 5. This is the one that the iris adjustment, the auto iris, the internal auto iris adjustment's connected to. If I can do it with a screwdriver, we're getting in the way a bit. Doesn't seem to be making that much of a difference. Let me hook it on it. It's pin 5. That doesn't seem to be making any difference. Not sure. Oops. This is pin 6, this is where the thingy comes in, the voltage from the video. What's that look like? Can't trigger on it, but I probably could, but so as I turn that, something does happen there. Is this different from what it says on the thing? 'Cause that's moving up and down with this. I'm on pin 6 there, but according to the service manual, it's pin 5. That's a bit weird. Right, I'm not even in auto. That's that. The auto, it stays there. That's what is moving. So that I suppose that is the non-inverting input, so the inverting input should follow it, which it is doing. It's hard to do it with because I ain't got both at the same time, but I could plug this in so I can see what's happening on the screen. So that screen obviously is just full brightness now. I'll put it on. That comes down. So that is doing something, but it doesn't seem to be getting to the thing. So where's... I think this is... yeah, that's the video signal coming from that diode. It's dropped down, it's going back up now. And that's the other side of the diode. Then that's it through that, the other side of the diode, that's the other side of the resistor that it goes through. So that's like connected to that capacitor, I think. And it goes up here. Oh. That seemed when I pressed on that. So if I press against that, it seems to start responding. Try that again. And to find where to press on it, because there's it there. Yeah, so when I press that, I can control it with this auto iris starts to come into effect. That's, I'll show you solder joint that I'm pressing on. I'm pressing on this solder joint here. It's onto, there's like a little SMD capacitor resistor and a blob of solder with this wire going down to here, which I think is that connector. So maybe if I resolder that might solve the problem. Oh, hang on. Is that a little break in the trace under there? Difficult to see. Maybe if I like just solder a wire from there to there. I don't know if you can see that little bit brown bit showing there. I don't know if that's board or if that's like copper or what, but that might be the cause of the problem. So maybe if I'll try soldering a wire from there to there and then see if that makes it more reliable. Right, that's the new wire that I've soldered to it. Oh, get another test and try it. Oh, we're on manual, open it up, put it on auto, see what happens. Still opening fully. Oh, and if I close that up, it goes down. That's still rising. There's obviously still a dodgy connection there. I'll resolder some more bits around that area and then see how what it's like. Right, well, I've had a bit more poke around and done a bit more soldering, and I think I've got it working now. Reliably. That joint there, I think that was a bit of a red herring. What's actually got it going, it was the joints on the op amp. So I think because it's next to it, you know, I must have, when I was pressing that, I'll have been just flexing board a bit enough to make contact with them joints. So we'll have a look at what it's like now. Right, so this is it now. I've got it. I've got the iris closed, it's in manual. If I put it to auto, it comes up, that with the AGC kicking in, and then the auto iris is kicked in, and it's right now. I can adjust it with this pot. I'll turn it down. You see where colour changes slightly, that's where brightness is too low and AGC's kicked in. And if I increase it, then AGC's turned off and it's the auto iris now. So I just need to set that up properly with the scope, and then just finish off the rest of the setting up, which looks to be probably alright, I think. So I don't think it'll need much adjustment, to be honest. Right, I've done most of the setup now, so this is what it looks like. It's in auto white balance mode at the minute. And, colours look pretty accurate. It's quite good colour actually. That's it's in auto iris as well. This is the manual iris. If I change it to auto, it sets itself quite quickly. There's some SMD resistors there. I lifted one of the SMD resistors off when I was resoldering things, so I had to put a new one on. I put it to manual, standard white balance. Looks pretty much the same. Don't really like the auto white balance on these because it's not consistent. So like if I say it a few times, so that's it, and again, and again. So it's kind of, I'm holding it down now, it's sort of oscillating through them colours or cycling or whatever. But I mean, it's possible to sort of get it to not cycle, but then it's difficult to do that and get a decent colour. Although it still does cycle a little bit, you can minimise it, but I don't know. The normal white balance is alright though. That's what it looks like. You can see these sort of green bits at the corners like there. I think it's pretty much impossible to get rid of them with this. So it's just about like setting horizontal position to kind of, you can either have them a bit on each side or have it all on one side. So that's with like the horizontal centering. So I've got it at the minute so there's a little bit on either side. So I don't know whether it's better to have it like that or to have it none on one side and a lot on the other. There's none at the bottom though, it's just at the top. I mean, you could probably get rid of it with the vertical centering, but then you need to set that up in order to have it in the right position for the optical black. So I'm not going to start messing with it, but I mean, you'd have to push it quite far up to get rid of them, which would be like moving it down, and then you might not be scanning the optical black properly. So I mean, on a normal telly that'd be cut off by overscan anyway. It's only when you're looking at it on you know, a computer or a modern telly that don't really have overscan that you see it. Wow, it's quite good, and you can see the thing of the stripe filter there on them edges. But when you record to VHS, it kind of low pass filters it and gets rid of them jagged edges, but at the expense of lower resolution. But anyway, I'm satisfied with that. Certainly a lot better than it were to begin with. So I'll put it back together. Right, so that's it done. I'm pretty pleased with how that's come out. It didn't have these with it. I don't know if he's got them or if they didn't come with it, because it's got that missing as well. So I don't know if it, what sort of condition it were in when he got it. I'm guessing that was gone. I think he's got another one, so he could probably take parts off that one to make this one up, maybe. So I'll have to do a little bit of a test video with it and do a bit of test footage to show what it looks like. Do some outside filming. Other than that, that's about it. Right, well, I put the cover back on, and that problem with the iris opening fully came back. So I'm going to take a more methodical approach and look properly at how the circuit's meant to behave. So this is the circuit. The video signal comes in here to the inverting input of this op amp via this low pass filter, and the preset iris pot is connected to the non-inverting input. So if the voltage from the video signal is lower than the voltage from the iris preset, then the voltage at the output of the op amp will increase. It's also connected to the inverting input of the other op amp, so it will make the voltage on the output of that decrease and drive current through the coil to open the iris. Once it gets to the point where the voltage from the video signal is the same as the voltage from the preset, it should stop driving the iris open and maintain it at that point. There's also this other coil that's connected across the inputs to that op amp, so there will be current flowing through that coil if there's a voltage difference there, and that opposes the drive coil, so it shouldn't open and close too fast and oscillate. Right, what I'm going to do is look at the inputs and the output of that op amp and see what's happening. I'll try covering the lens with my hand and see if the circuit responds. Right, I'll have a look at this op amp. So pin 5, that's the iris preset control, and that responds to me changing it. And pin 6, that's pin 6, so they look at the same voltage. They just shorted that output and it's close to iris, so it can drive it obviously. I'm like losing the thing there. They look to be like at the exact same potential. But, so this is pin 6. I'm covering the thing, covering the lens, so this should drop by rights, that voltage, because it's the video signal, but it's not doing. So where does that come in? I'll have to just consult the thing. This is R515 where it comes in from the diode. And that's a signal. And the other side, this is where it's at the capacitor. So that's alright. So then the other side is the pin of the chip, which is this is at the joint where the resistor R514. This is one side of it, and then this is the other side of it, where they just don't change. It's dropped down. So what's going on? Let me get the multimeter on that and see if it's measure the resistance, I guess. Right, so we know that it's alright here. This is the node of the cathode and that resistor. I'm wrong resistor here. Yeah. This is across that resistor. This is that resistor. The first R515. That's 10k, and then this is that to the other resistor which is connected, and then that's 14. It's like 15k. Wait, according to that it's 10k, but and that's connected to the pin. So is that? Have they used a different resistor, or is there something? Seeing as that's where it disappears, maybe something up with that resistor. Let me take it out of circuit and measure it. If I take it out, I'll probably end up having to replace it anyway, because they're a bit of a pain, these resistors. Put that there. Measure it without that in circuit. It's still saying 15k. So I wonder if there's something up with this resistor. Let's measure resistor. Even though I might as well just put a new resistor in and see what happens. But not measuring out. Has that gone open circuit? Or looks like the metal end bits might have come off. They seem to be soldered, so I don't know. I'll try putting a new resistor in. See, that's where I thought the problem originally thought the problem were. Around that bit. So maybe it were actually a problem and I just dismissed it, thinking I'd fixed it. See, is that connecting to that properly? I don't know. That's soldered properly, and that end does as well. I don't know if it's soldered properly to that. Give it a try. So, pin 6. But I've turned it on. It's doing. Well, it's a promising start. It doesn't seem to be getting bright. I think I closed it there. Pin 6. I'll close it. I can see it moving slightly, so it does seem to be responding. And see if it responds to me changing the preset. The preset should control this as well. Yeah. So that's on pin 6. That's the video input, not the preset input. And looking at the viewfinder, I can see it getting lighter and darker. So that must have been what it were, that resistor. So I'll have to redo a little bit of the setup because I messed about with it a bit. But then I'll put the cover back on, and hopefully this time it'll carry on working.